On the headlines tonight, ex-NBA president discharged and acquitted from fraud case. Strange disease kills 7 in Enugu. And on the foreign scene, a number of deaths from Europe flood rises to 126. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba. For more information and update, follow us on all our social media handles. A federal high court sitting in Lagos State has acquitted and discharged the immediate past president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Paul Usoro. Usoro had been standing trial on 10 counts of fraud and money laundering made against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Ruling on no case submission, the trial judge, Justice Rilwan Aikawa, held that the anti-graft agency fails to establish any prima facie case against Usoro. Justice Aikawa noted that the penal code under which the former NBA president was charged is not applicable to the southern states of Lagos and Akwa Ibom, which were said to be the locations of the alleged offenses. The House of Representatives has passed the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. The House also passed the Petroleum Industry Bill. PDP members of House initially staged a walkout in opposition to some provisions in the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. The third reading of both PIB and Electoral Act Amendment Bill commenced after a motion by the House Leader Alhassan Adodogwa and seconded by the Deputy Leader Peter Akpatason. The long titles of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill and the PIB were read by the Clerk of the House. The two bills were later passed by the House Leader Alhassan Adodogwa, moved for the adoption of the day's proceedings, seconded by the Deputy Leader Peter Akpatason. Meanwhile, the Senate on Thursday passed the Electoral Act Amendment Bill with a provision for electronic transmission of election results, provided national network coverage is certified to be adequate and secured by the National Communications Commission and approved by the National Assembly. TrustTV correspondent Nafisa Abdul-Al speaks to some Nigerians on desirability of manual or electronic transmission of election results.
There was a lot of controversy and divided opinions in the House of Representatives on Thursday over the Electoral Act Amendment Bill as to whether transmission of election votes be done electronically or manually. The session was adjourned and Nigerians are left to wonder over the final verdict of the matter.
My fear is communication problem. Because in some villages that communication will not reach. So what is going to be the fate of those people there? So it's better they can approve both electronically and physical nature, where the communication cannot catch up. They should use the card reader.
They should give INEC the ultimatum to handle election. You know what I'm saying? Actually should be full in control, fully in charge. Though, that bill that they passed yesterday, it is APC bill. They just do it that one to favor themselves. Because they, maybe they are afraid of the next election, 2023, maybe they will not win. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they will not win that election. That's why they passed that bill. They should have given INEC the full, ultimatum, authority over the election, responsibility, sorry.
As at now in Nigeria, if we are talking about manually, electrically, we don't have electricity almost everywhere. And if we are expecting results from through electronic system, it will be, at the end of the day, we result into manual. So I think we should still continue until the government can provide electricity, because using generator may not even be effective.
Most Abuja residents have said that the manual method of transmitting election results is preferable to avoid the results being manipulated in the electronic processes. Nafisa Abdul-Al, TrustTV News, Abuja.
In a similar reaction, a lawyer and public affairs analyst, Ilemona Onoja, had earlier shared his perspectives on the electoral bill.
That raises a constitutional crisis that must be resolved in favor of the Constitution. Section 1, subsection 1 of the Constitution, this Constitution is supreme. Section 1, subsection 3, any law that is inconsistent with the provisions of this Constitution must abate to the extent of that inconsistency. Within the provisions of the law, within the provisions of our Constitution, that section, as it appears to have been, as it has been passed, appears on the face of it, and any way you want to put it, to be in direct conflict with the provisions of the Constitution. As such, I believe that if that is brought before a judge, that it will be felt that that section must abate to the extent of that inconsistency, simply because INEC, independent national, evolves it of its independence. It subjects it to the control of an agency of government, a government set up and established by a political party that will contest in those elections. Doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. Speaking from that perspective, from the perspective of the integrity of our election, you already see why this is a setback, and you already see why this seems to be a stance against free, fair, and credible elections. On the other hand, considering that there are constitutional issues there, what we have done, what 56 senators voted to do yesterday was to rob the Independent National Electoral Commission of its independence by subjecting it to seeking approval from an agency of government that would be run by a political party. That doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, I believe that 28 senators who voted against actually do care. It is the 56, and for a chance, the 28 who abstain from voting who don't care. I think, let me quickly ask you, right? Or let me quickly remind you, and everybody who's listening, electronic registration of voters is currently going on in the areas where people complain about. Electronic registration of voters is currently going on. If electronic registration of voters goes on now, why can't electronic transmission of results be done? It makes no sense. It's a contradiction on the one hand. On the other hand, operationally, INEC has test run the electronic transmission of results. It did so in Ondo, in the gubernatorial elections in Ondo State.
Now, in other news, no fewer than 7 persons have died early hours of Friday and 8 others in critical condition over a yet-to-be-confirmed illness at the new artisan market in Enugu. The chairman of the livestock market, Daladi Abubakar, said this in an interview with the news agency of Nigeria in Enugu. Abubakar said that residents of the market woke up to discover the dead bodies, which included 4 men and 3 women. The chairman said that all the affected persons, who included tricycle riders, artisans and others from different households, were stooling and vomiting. The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps Delta Command has arrested 2 suspects for being in possession of illegally refined automotive gas oil. State Commandant of the Corps, Iskilu Akinsanya, said this to newsmen on Friday in Asaba. Akinsanya said that the suspects were arrested on Sunday by a T-Vanda unit of the command in Agbo along the Agbo-Benin Expressway. Following a tip-off, the commandant said that the suspects were arrested with 45,000-litre capacity truck with registration number SEY 930XA loaded with illegally refined AGO. Coming up after the break, price of ram high in Abuja ahead of Eid al-Kabir celebration. Please join us again for more.
Get latest updates on current topical issues and breaking news by downloading the TrustTV mobile app on your Android devices. Go online, click Google Play Store, search TrustTV, install the app, and get doses of unfiltered information on happenings all over the world in your pocket. TrustTV, documenting the Nigerian story.
My name is Samuel Dada.
Yakubu Isa, ana mana kabi da jeje.
Aminu Musa.
A wannan harkar ce muke dan samun abinci, an muke taimaka mu wasu da yawa.
Looking for private jobs. Sometimes you get employed and the process of payment, you undergo some kind of stress.
Thank you for staying with us. Now let's have another look at some of our top stories. Ex-NBA President Paul Usoro has been freed of fraud charges. 7 die in Enugu following an outbreak of a killer disease. Moving on now, the National Broadcasting Commission has directed broadcast stations in Nigeria to stop reporting the details of attacks by bandits and insurgents. Headlines of most newspaper dailies are replete with security breaches. NBC Director of Broadcast Monitoring, Francisca Ayetan, said in a letter to broadcast stations. NBC urged broadcast stations to be guided by provisions of sections 541F and 543 of the NBC Code, which states that the broadcaster shall not transmit divisive materials that may threaten or compromise the divisibility of Nigeria as a sovereign state. President Muhammadu Buhari has called on state governments to build stronger partnerships with federal ministries, departments and agencies to provide infrastructure that will meet the growing needs of Nigerians. The president also urged the National Assembly to pass the National Water Resources Bill. Buhari made the call while inaugurating the Zobe Regional Water Supply Scheme in Dutsinma, Katsina State. The president said that the water project, initiated by a previous administration in 1992, and the federal government continued the work in collaboration with the state to ensure completion. Buhari enjoined other sectors to emulate the good practice of federal and state governments' partnership to accelerate infrastructure development.
I am particularly delighted to be physically here today for the commissioning ceremony, which has been on hold for over 1 year due to the coronavirus pandemic. As you all know, the implementation of this very important project that commenced in 1992 suffered neglect under past administrations, primarily due to lack of attention that resulted in poor funding and the ultimate abandonment. It is therefore gratifying to note the positive efforts made by the Federal Ministry of Water Resources to salvage the project, leading to its completion and the eventual commissioning today. I have also noted the effective collaboration between the Ministry and Kaduna State Government for execution of different components of the project as enshrined in the Memorandum of Understanding entered into by both parties way back in October 2017 when the project was resuscitated.
The federal government has inaugurated the reconstituted Russian-Nigerian Joint Coordination Committee of the National Atomic Energy Commission to resuscitate the relationship between the two countries in cooperation for the peaceful use of nuclear energy. The report.
Ensuring that Nigeria...
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, represented by the Permanent Secretary, Ecological Fund Office, Dr. Habibullah Lawal, inaugurated the members in Abuja.
...of the various elements of the agreement.
He recalled that several intergovernmental agreements were signed between the Nigerian Atomic Energy Commission and Russia's state-owned nuclear corporation within the framework of Nigeria's bilateral relations with the Russian Federation. According to him, the agreements cover cooperation in the design, construction and decommissioning of nuclear power plants within the territory of Nigeria.
As JCC members, you will be fully briefed on your tasks and responsibilities based on the terms of reference that you are all advised to be very conversant with. However, it is important to remind you all that the JCC was put in place to allow for effective negotiations, particularly focused on ensuring that Nigeria is not subjected to any unfair trade agreements during the process of Nigeria's engagement and discussions with Rosatom and on the implementation of the various elements of the agreement.
In his remarks, Professor Yusuf Ahmed, acting chairman CEO of the Nigerian Atomic Energy Commission, appreciated the SGF for the support and cooperation the Commission had continued to enjoy over the years.
Today, Nigeria has made tremendous efforts in global nuclear programs to the extent that the International Atomic Energy Agency has elected Nigeria as a member of its 35-member board of governors. And I think this is a feat that Nigeria has attained. We are a member of the Nigeria International Atomic Energy Agency board, and this is the highest decision-making body of the International Atomic Energy Agency. And you can see Nigeria is playing a great role in the international community.
Responding, Dr. Nazir Bello, Director, Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Authority, promised to support the committee to achieve its mandate.
We assure government of our preparedness to collectively bring into this assignment our vast technical and professional expertise in ensuring that any information, documentation, technology that may be provided by our Russian counterpart is in line with international standards and fulfills our national aspiration for a Nigerian nuclear power program.
Now, ahead of this year's Eid al-Kabir, high cost of rams and other sacrificial animals may hinder many Muslims from enjoying Salah festivities in Abuja, though many Muslim faithfuls are in high spirit waiting to enjoy the celebration and blessings that accompany the annual festival. TrustTV's Mardia Umar tells us more.
Eid al-Kabir, also known as Festival of Sacrifice, is one of the most important feasts in the Islamic calendar, because it is an occasion to celebrate the willingness of Prophet Ibrahim to sacrifice his son, Ismail, in submission to Allah's command. Rams slaughtered by the faithful is a part of religious obligation to demonstrate belief in Prophet Ibrahim's submission to Allah through sacrifice.
It's few days to the Eid al-Kabir Salah celebration, which automatically means a visit to the market. But some people are skeptical about how this year's celebration will be. This is largely attributed to the cost of food items and, of course, ram for the Eid al-Kabir celebration. We're right now at the fruit market to see how preparations and patronage for the ram is going.
We always thank God because He give us opportunity to gather ourselves here to sell our ram peaceful. So, sincere speak, every year we are not facing any problem or less different of price. This year cost us every year, but we thank God we're alive. For example, this ram you see, if last year we are going to sell it like 130, but now it's 170. Everything don't increase. But we are not happy because, you know, if everything costs, people are not happy and the people will enter hard condition.
So you can't compare this year with last year's price. So last year the ram I got like 40,000 naira. Here now they are saying 60,000. So the one of 70K last year they are saying 100,000. So also compare it with the last year food. So I used to buy the mudu of the food. Look at it. Per mudu then I used to buy like 100 naira per mudu. But here now they are telling me it's 200 naira per mudu. Which I will have no option. I have to buy because I already got in my ram.
This year our problem is very cost. Not be like last year. So there's a problem we are facing for this year. Because this year not be like last year. We are buying very costly. The ram we can buy last year is 50,000. This year is 80,000, 85,000.
From our findings here, the prices of ram for this year is a bit expensive compared to what we have last year. Because of the significance of the ram to the Eid al-Kabir Salah celebration, patronage are ongoing as usual. Martia Umar, TrustTV News, Abuja.
Let's now take a look at stories from the foreign scene. The death toll from devastating floods in Europe soared to at least 126 on Friday, most in western Germany, where emergency responders were frantically searching for missing people. Unsuspecting residents were caught completely off guard by the torrent dubbed the flood of death by Germany's top-selling daily Bild. Streets and houses were submerged by water in some areas, while cars were left overturned on soaked streets after flood waters passed. Some districts were completely cut off from the outside world. Adding to the devastation, several more people were feared dead in a landslide in northern Germany on Friday, triggered by flood. In a similar vein, a total of 117 people have lost their lives during violent protests which have been taking place for a week in South Africa, said Acting Minister in the Presidency, Kumbozo Nshaveni, on Thursday while addressing the media about the latest development in the protest in the country. Nshaveni said 26 deaths had been recorded in Gauteng, while 91 lives were lost in KwaZulu-Natal. She said the situation is improving in Gauteng province. And in sports news, Olympian Henry Amike on Friday said athletes representing the country at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics peaked at the right time, which showed a high level of preparation for the Olympic Games. Amike said this in an interview with the news agency of Nigeria in Lagos, adding that the athletes had the potential to win medals. Amike, a former African champion in 400 meters hurdles, said the performance of the athletes during the trials convinced him that they were ready. When asked about the events in which he hoped the athletes will win medals, he said all the athletes had the potential to pick a medal at the Olympics. With this, we've come to the end of TrustTV News Update. Don't forget to follow all our social media handles for more updates on Facebook at TrustTV News, on Instagram at TrustTV_news, and YouTube at TrustTV News. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for watching.